She told him and he said he's white.
Uncle Shannon's white.
That's former alumni.
And if he was former alumni, he wouldn't be talking about athletes the way he's talking about athletes.
Okay.
What's up, world? Welcome back to Charge the Game podcast. I'll be your host here, Chuck. And as you guys can see in this snippet, this will be a video about Shannon Sharpe. But we had Brandon Marshall weigh in on some criticism of Uncle Shay, and I want you guys to know that this is the same message I have been preaching about Uncle Shay, Shannon Sharpe. As many love this guy, I feel like I'm one of the people who supports Brandon Marshall, and I'm with him, and I stand with Brandon Marshall on this topic of how Shannon Sharpe obliterates athletes in the media. But before I continue to make this reaction video, I want to ask you guys to do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you guys can continue to get the latest when I drop my sports media takes. Now, we all know that Shannon Sharpe is Uncle Shay universally. But I have made a few videos whether he's dissing black athletes or talking down on white athletes. I always felt like Shannon Sharpe would sell his soul to be on TV. And that's exactly what I get, man. Every time you turn around, he's trying to make a reference. I made a video about how he clowned Zach Wilson. I made several videos about how he likes to, he can't play dead in a horror film or something like that. Something simple like that, just to get laughs and to boost his brand on TV by tearing other athletes down. And that's something that I just don't rock with. So we're going to get into this video, and this is from the Danza Project podcast, where Brandon Marshall did not hold back none whatsoever on Shannon Sharpe. So let's get into this video, and we're going to stop and highlight key points that he's making to bring a lot of validation to you guys as Brandon Marshall airs Shannon Sharpe out. Let's get it.
He talking like he was trained to be a ABC, NBC analyst.
Yeah.
And what he's saying on that is the way that Shannon Sharpe talks, he knows that isn't the real Shannon Sharpe. But there's nothing wrong with a brother elevating himself. Obviously, we heard when Shannon Sharpe was crying to Skip Bayless on his last day how there are certain words that he didn't know that would be fed to him through the mic, through his earpiece, and he would say these big words on TV. And Shannon Sharpe also likes to use a lot of big words to make himself sound more, I guess, intellectual and on the high end side of things. And we all know that he has a super big tongue and it's super thick with big fake veneers. So when he says these big words, they come off as very emphasized. And Shannon Sharpe has trained himself to know how to talk with class and dignity on television, which is another big asset to have when you're in the media broadcasting, sports commentating business. And Brandon Marshall is trying his best to be respectful. But you can see in this guy's face that he's just telling it like it is. And I feel the exact same way with Shannon Sharpe. I think that he tries to get his shine on. There's always that one guy in the group who likes to crack a joke just to get a laugh, especially if there's a crowd. And you guys have to realize Shannon Sharpe was confronted by Ed Reed, who he played with on the Baltimore Ravens. And he straight up called Shannon Sharpe out for the same thing. We've seen Lamar Jackson go at Shannon Sharpe. You just see all these athletes go at him because at the end of the day, like, you're tearing athletes down as if you weren't in that predicament, as if you weren't in the 7th round and blossomed to be the fantastic tight end player that you are. So let's keep going.
It's like there's a responsibility that you have. Like, first off, I would say this amazing career, and to me, I think he's he's probably top 3 when it comes to personalities right now on television.
Yep.
And you have to give him his accolades because everybody is going to probably throw sticks and arrows at Brandon Marshall for coming out and saying his piece. That's why he said, first off, let me give him his flowers. He's one of the top 3 in media broadcasting because he is supreme at what he does. But you have to give a guy his flowers so that the interweb will not react and think that you are hating. So I understand what Brandon Marshall just did there. Let's keep going.
He found this. He hit a stride. When he started pulling out the Black and Miles and the Hennessy
Memes and stuff
on FS1. He found it, right?
And he's exactly right. But I did not like that look for a black man to come out with a wave cap a black and mild and a bottle of Hennessy. That is not a great representation of a black man. But what is the media going to do? If they know that most of the community is black people and it's relatable, they're going to let you clown yourself, aka buck dance. They're going to let you do that. And that's exactly what Shannon Sharpe got his bread and butter started, by doing these antics, coming out with a goat mask on, coming out with LeBron James, being an over fan of LeBron James. And that's one of the things that Antonio Brown called Shannon Sharpe out on the shop when he did his exclusive interview. He said, man, you get up there and you be cooning, because the truth is that's what it looks like. And if I'm being honest, that's exactly how I've always thought and how I always felt. I am a black man. I don't want every person that watch Undisputed who is a different race or minority to think that all black people carry themselves like that. Not saying that Shannon Sharpe is a bad guy, but that image of a wave cap, black and mild, and Duce and Hennessy is just a bad look. But what do you have to do? You have to do what you're good at, and that's what Shannon Sharpe did. He capitalized off of it. So let's keep going.
America's uncle. So shout out to him there. What I don't vibe with is when you tear down your fellow, athlete.
And that's what I agree with. I don't like the way Shannon Sharpe does that. As I stated previously at the beginning of this video, I don't like anybody. I don't even like Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal does the same thing. I do not like Shaq. I am not fond of a guy who sits back and hate on the younger generation. He hates on NBA players for having more money and doing less work than he did. He feels like that he should be getting that money. And he feels like because he has 4 or 5 championship rings, that he can call everybody bums. That's not how you protect the people who grew up idolizing your game, and kids who grew up watching you, or tight ends and football players who grew up watching you, Shannon Sharpe, and would just hope that one day you would speak glowingly of them. Instead, you tear them down because it's your job for you to get ratings, and you join Stephen A. Smith, who is going to add fire. He's going to add fire. He's going to add fuel to that fire and ignite you to do that, and continuously ignite you to do that, because he's going to capitalize off of vouching to bring you over to First Take. Shannon Sharpe is being used up, and he doesn't mind being used up, nor does he mind buck dancing. And I agree with Brandon Marshall. Your job is to protect the younger people coming up under you. That's why I like the way Michael Irvin does his job on Undisputed. You guys notice whenever there's a bad team, he does not drag the player. He does not. He comes at it from a different approach. Even when Skip Bayless throws out a topic that could be like, what happened with this player? Why is they playing trash? Michael Irvin will come back and say something like, well, let's look at it from a mental perspective, or what was he going through, or what was he thinking? Because he knows how it feels to be a football player and face all of that scrutiny, right? And you just don't see Shannon Sharpe doing that. You see a cocky guy who made it, who bug dances on TV. And I'm like Brandon Marshall, man, I just don't rock with that. Let's keep going.
There's a way to critique them. It's like, and you clout chasing, you talking about Russell Wilson a year later on some other things. Like, come on, bro.
And I agree. There is a way to criticize and critique NFL players without tearing them down. I'm sorry. After I saw the way he did Lamar Jackson a few times, after I saw the way he did the poor kid Zach Wilson, who seems to be finding his stride like I said he would, I just didn't like that, because most people come in these comment sections and they'll try to say stuff like, oh, it's true, Uncle Shay is not lying. But what if that was your relative? Somebody that you grew up with that he was talking about? What if this was your brother that he was talking about, right? I guarantee you guys would not feel the same way. So whenever I'm giving my takes, I'm always looking at it from another perspective, not just the perspective that's given. You have to be human sometimes, man. You can't just go off what everybody else wants to support. You guys don't have your own damn mind. You don't know how to think. All you know how to do is go with what's being projected. Now, mind you, social media was nowhere in the picture. A lot of you guys would say how you truly feel. But because you get on the internet and you see the comment section and people cracking jokes and going along with it, it's going to empower you to feel like, well, I need to support this shit because I don't want any backlash. Well, only a few people like Brandon Marshall and myself going to tell it like it is and really mean that. And I applaud this brother, Brandon Marshall, and I support this guy. I really loved when he was on First Thing First giving it to Nick Wright, because he's a guy who doesn't abide by the rules that they want to keep him bracketed and boxed in, but he left FS1 to pursue his own podcast, and he is a successful man because there are multiple ways to be successful versus the blueprint that's shown. Let's keep going.
You know what I mean? Like your platform's too big for you to go chase that.
Exactly.
And I just don't vibe with that. So Stephen A. Smith and like the Skip Bayless of the world changed the game from a broadcasting, covering sports thing. You're not going out there critique, like talking about the person, the athlete, the person of the athlete. You're not going out there talking about the X's and O's because you don't know the fucking X's and O's. Okay.
I appreciate him being brutally honest with that, because people like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, who never played a professional sport past high school, they don't know the X's and O's. That's why they critique players based off of their personalities, and they make these takes where they have to stand their ground. Even on FS1 Undisputed, like I said, you had to have a guy who loved Michael Jordan. You had to have a guy who loved LeBron James. You had to have a guy who loves Tom Brady, and you had to have a guy who dislikes Tom Brady. That's all it is. The name of the game is to cause controversy, because that's what raises ratings. Straight up. And they have to protect their brand. They have to protect their picks. That's why they make early Super Bowl picks. That's why they make early NBA championship picks. That's why they have to stay with the people that they vouch for from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. And when I mean beginning of the show, I mean from the debut of the show to when they depart. It always has to be that way. And they have to purposely put people against each other in other media platforms, and also the audience. They have to do that because they know that nobody wants to agree about the same things. And I understand exactly where Brandon Marshall is going with this.
So they went out there, boom, it turns into first take, and they start putting all this color in the game. Yeah. Right? And so they, it's like they start talking about things that, and it's not, this is not about Stephen A, it's about the industry. So it start adding more sauce to sports.
Or too much color.
And what did I just say? They have to add this type of stuff for controversy, man. You can't make this stuff up. They have to do this to sell. Literally sell them souls to sell. And what he's doing is just telling the truth on what he had to deal with in the media. And that's exactly what people like Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith, they go out on these platforms, man, and they will drag a person so bad, it's ridiculous. The way that Skip Bayless did Russell Westbrook, man, it was just disgusting. Shannon Sharpe, who is best friends with LeBron James apparently, has his number. You could have reached out to Russell Westbrook. You and LeBron James, and that's why I fought LeBron James, and I don't respect LeBron James. You could have told Uncle Shay, hey, take it easy on my guy. Y'all saw the way that LeBron James just came out with Anthony Davis and said, we don't give a shit. He doesn't care, and I don't care either. You're doing that to protect your guy AD. Why couldn't you come out and do Russell Westbrook like that, LeBron James? Why did you let Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe drag this man on live television like that? Shannon Sharpe, why did you do that to another brother? Shannon Sharpe, why did you go and drag Zach Wilson for being the same type of quarterback? And I believe this is who he's talking about. Why did you go and drag Zach Wilson like that and say that he couldn't play dead in a horror film? He sucks. You don't need to see anything. But there was Rex Ryan right by your side, who kept it real and said, let this kid grow, give him time. And as you guys have saw, he's having fun playing winning football. You can never write somebody off because it's not microwave success. The whole freaking playbook was for the New York Jets starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers. For this guy to step in under that media scrutiny, and he handled himself so well. I truly believe in that kid, Zach Wilson, and I hope that they make that guy a franchise quarterback and that they believe in him too, like the coaching does. You can't have people like Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith, and Skip Bayless coming out because they're pouring too much sauce into people's opinions, and that's exactly what Brandon Marshall just stated. Like, they're not telling you guys the whole truth. They're telling you things to put you against another person who may disagree with you. Controversy equals ratings, which equals money. The root of all evil. Let's keep going.
Got guys out there creating these narratives that's just destroying careers or reputations. And so, like, the reason why Shannon Sharpe caught a straight from me is because sometimes he's going out there just like, just click. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's
Oh, my goodness. You see what I'm saying, guys? He's going out there doing stuff that he doesn't have to do. You're Shannon Sharpe. You're a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a Hall of Famer, but you don't even believe in yourself, Shannon Sharpe. Some of the stuff Shannon Sharpe does, the way you was well behaved for Skip Bayless, and he openly came out on Stephen A. Smith's show and said, my problem was being too loyal, thinking that I had to be appreciative of the opportunity that was given to me by Skip Bayless. Because Shannon Sharpe, if you were a real man, a real stand-up man, you will know your worth regardless. And that if you are that guy, nothing can break you or tame you and make you feel like you have to be a well-behaved, whooped slave. Because that's how Skip Bayless had you. He had you up there like a whooped slave. And that's why sometimes you go on First Take, I feel like you're truly unleashed. Now we get to see the real Shannon Sharpe. We thought we saw the real Shannon Sharpe on FS1, but Skip Bayless wasn't having that on Undisputed. He'll let you clown yourself enough to get the ratings, but he always checked that ass. Stephen A. Smith isn't going to do that. He's a brother like you, and all he cares about is making the dollar, making his bosses happy. He's going to empower you to do the same thing, Shannon Sharpe, and that's why I support Brandon Marshall on this. You're going to go out there, and like he said, you're just going out there for clip. Like, come on, man. You're Shannon Sharpe. You don't got to do that, man. You're going to be respected regardless. Regardless, you're going to be respected, man. You just don't have to tear other athletes down. Let's keep going.
Here's what I learned in that game. That's why I had to get out of FS1 and like the whole linear side of things. Is because, and watch this. Stephen A. Smith, he hates the Cowboys, he loves the Steelers. He loves the Knicks, he hates this person. Right, from a TV standpoint. And then you got Skip Bayless. You know who he like, you know who he don't like.
Yeah, them Cowboys.
Who loves Jordan, who loves LeBron? Debate.
Wow. You can't make this up, guys. Now, how did I say this? Like, I just literally just said what he said, what he's saying now. Because I watch with my eye. I watch with my eye and I listen with my heart. I don't react off stuff like most people do. I give you guys the truth from my perspective, and I will never, ever sell myself just to make clickbait or whatever they call it. Like, no, I just like to get on here and tell it how I see it. And if you rock with it, you rock with it. If you don't, it's cool. Thanks for the view. I mean, that's what these guys in the media do. It's all about what's hot and what's not. There is no reason that Skip Bayless should have got on TV today and drug the Colorado Buffs offensive line to support Deion Sanders because that's who his favorite is. Like Brandon Marshall is saying, that's not real. If you're going to critique the game, critique everybody. There are plenty of teams out here who deserve to be talked about, yet Skip Bayless likes to bring up who? Deion Sanders. Who draws rating? Deion Sanders. Who just must watch TV right now? Deion Sanders. I guarantee you guys, if Deion Sanders was at the Colorado Buffs, right, not making no noise, could have a losing record not heard of, which looks like that's what's going to happen now, guess what? You think they'll talk about him? No. They'll talk about him in spurts, but they would not be making these segments. They literally got on the road to go see him and mimic what First Take does because it's all about ratings and competition amongst one another. So, yeah, I called this just like the way Brandon Marshall is calling this. And anybody with a good sports eye can see the same thing.
So basically, they protect their takes.
See?
So it don't matter what happens in this game or what happens with this athlete.
It's gonna be something.
No, I gotta make sure my point is valid. So you go out there and you start making up shit.
Wow.
Like,
Because you gotta keep
Skip Bayless, how can you say something bad about LeBron James? He gotta protect his take because what? That makes him relevant. That actually was that's one of his biggest things. Is LeBron James this, LeBron James that. Bruh.
This dude, Brandon Marshall. See, when you're a free person, a boss, and you got your own business and you don't worry about losing your job because of what you say, you come out and you be real and you're thorough like this guy here. Much love and respect to Brandon Marshall for keeping it real. I don't want this video to be too long. I really could keep going on this because this seems to be a great video, and I gotta subscribe to this guy. If you guys don't know who this is the Danza Project. And it looks like they invite people on here to speak their piece and respectfully speak their piece. And I don't even think this was a Shannon Sharpe topic. I just think that he ended up talking about this, and it's something that was sent to me. And I first heard like the first few seconds and moments of it, and I said, hey, I gotta watch this live because Brandon Marshall is raw and uncut, and I appreciate that. So you guys let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, as I hope I brought a lot of light to you guys' eyes, and hopefully you guys can think for yourself and not be a robot and just give in to what's popular, because a lot of y'all support people deep down. Y'all support all these people and be riding for them, and they will not ride for you, straight up. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think on this. Like always, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know how you charge the game. Peace.